This is one of the first games ever made in history. What you are looking at now is my awful attempt at recreating it, with a slight twist inside Unreal Engine. How did I end up at this point, you might ask? Oh, nobody asked? Well, let's find out anyways. So I created a project, made the best possible title for it, and we were off to the races. I wanted to add a unique twist onto the game, but at this point, I was not certain what it would be yet. I decided it would be for the better to start off with something simple that probably wouldn't change, the ball. So I just made a very basic system to give it a small force when starting the game, gave it the ability to bounce, and created a super simple material for it. By simple, it was literally this one node. Then I tested it out. I had a ball, seemed like it would fit into a Pong game. By now I had sort of an idea on how I wanted the gameplay to be, so I created the paddles. The idea was that this Pong game would be single player, and the player can control all the paddles, and you switch to each paddle with the arrow keys. I started off with 6 paddles, but later I realized that it was a little too confusing, so I took the top and bottom out. I realized this because just in order to make sure everything was orientated correctly, I had to add a few reference cubes in the world. They were not hard to make, but I had an issue with the ball, and that would come to a complete stop. This literally took me 30 minutes to realize I didn't override the nodes on the friction and restitution, but now the ball endlessly bounces and it is working once again. So now that I had the basic functionality of Pong created, it was time to make the system to actually be able to switch to all of the characters. I decided to just make this a separate actor so that all of this mumbled mess would be contained in its own thing I wouldn't ever have to touch. Oh yeah, also, remember how I said it was too complicated to have the top and bottom paddles? Well, this is where I figured that out. You see, there's a thing called perspective, and say the ball is moving one way and you switch to a top paddle, depending on your camera angle to that paddle, the ball may not be moving in the same direction anymore. If you didn't understand that, then it proves my point on why I just need 4 paddles. But anyways, now that I had a system to switch between all the different paddles and a way to keep track of the score. To wrap up the day, I wanted the game to have an arcadey feel, and it was kind of hard to see the balls sometimes, so I made the paddles translucent. Then I made them have their borders be emissive with red, so that they could be seen easily while being almost completely see-through. Since everything was glowing, I decided it would be best to put it in a dark box. I just realized I did not add any emissive to the ball. Let me fix that real fast. And now just like that, the ball glows. With the game almost finished, we now move on to day 2. So starting off, we begin where day 1 ended. I thought that just having a pitch black room didn't really fit into the vibe, so I basically just copied and pasted what I had on the paddle material and put it onto a new material. However, I still thought it was a little bland, so whenever the ball hits something, the border color changes. This is the final result of what that looks like. Next up, I finally got around to removing the top and bottom paddles, because I really didn't want to go digging into the game manager again, and this required a bit of fixing inside of it. It wasn't too complicated though, just adjust some arrays was all it was, but there were several of them. I also noticed that the ball never bounces at angles, and it just goes back and forth, so I made it move at a random upwards angle when it starts. Then I made some improvements to the level so that the ball would stay within the player area and bounce around unless missed by a paddle. One of the last things I did was make the score system. I don't want to spend much time on this because it's nothing special. It just shows a score that the game manager was already calculating on the HUD, and it resets it when the ball goes past a paddle. It also sets the ball to the center of the room as well, and picks a random angle to launch it again. Lastly, I figured it's not a game without a main menu, so I clicked quickly threw one together, that I believe fits the game pretty nicely. Anyways, I packaged the game, so if anyone would like it, I can upload it to itch or something, I don't know. But yeah, here's the final gameplay. I think it has a pretty unique twist, and the game is actually surprisingly challenging, but I could just be bad at it, I'm not sure. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Leave a like, comment below what you would like to see next, or if you would like me to publish the game. But other than that, I will see you all later. Bye bye.